Here you are looking at SmartSlope's unique two-part polymer forming system. A fairly rigid outer form that's skeletonized, and then a more lightweight inner polymer liner that becomes part of the block and completes the form. This particular shop is a relatively manual operation. They're pouring a 6 to 8 inch slump ready-mix concrete, and they're using an internal stick vibrator to settle the concrete out and get the bubbles out. You can see how easy that material moves. They just want to take care not to scratch the outer sides of the form. Now, as a result of the way they've chosen to run this operation, they have to manually strike these forms off to get good dimensional accuracy. Had they poured them on a light vibrating table, high frequency, low force, it would have settled out to the right dimensions as they poured it. It can also be poured with self-consolidating concrete, which we have a number of operations that do that. And here you can see they're taking advantage of their space, and they're relatively restricted on space, but they're pouring on a wood pouring pallet. Some shops use a steel pallet or a steel bench, and then they can be picked up and stacked or racked, so you can get a pretty high density of SmartSlope production in a small area. What you'll see these guys do exhibits great economy of movement. They rack this one that was just poured, and then they just move downward and stick the forks in a pouring pallet from the day before that's cured, pull it out, leave it at a nice waist-high work height, and begin rolling over the forms and demolding for palletizing. Take note of how quick and easy it is to strip the forms off the SmartSlope. Roll it over 180 degrees and lift the form off, because the polymer liner now is bonded to the inside of the module, so it's part of the block. It facilitates fast and easy form setup, stripping, cleanup, and it also gives us a very dimensionally accurate block with a number of accessory attachment points on the inside. This particular shop is turning every other course upside down and nesting them, but the vast majority of our producers actually leave them all in an upward position, and they get 30 on a pallet. Take a look at how easy it is for these guys to get the form off. It makes a good looking block. Now, once they get all these blocks taken off, they sweep off the pallet, put empty forms on, put new liners in, and pour it again. It's a pretty quick turn. Boy, that's fast. Now, this is a shop in Baltimore, and they are pouring with a front discharge ready-mix truck, and they're pouring self-consolidating concrete at about a 27-inch spread. They're pouring about 400 to 500 forms a day, and as you can see, they've got a lead man that goes along with the pouring snout, pours the forms full, not a lot of waste here, not a lot of slop for cleanup, and then a man comes along behind him and taps it with a rubber mallet and degasses it, kind of like making concrete test cylinders. It's a pretty high capacity operation, and again, there's no upfront cost in this. They've not bought any automated equipment, and of course, if a shop wanted to go up to 12 to 1500 modules a day, you could buy readily available automated equipment. Now, here's a shop in Houston, Texas, very similar to the one that's in San Antonio as well, and they're pouring outside year-round with self-consolidating concrete. They've got really nice casting platforms underneath awnings. Makes a nice block. No leakage in those forms. The liner and the form seal together nicely once the concrete's poured in. And here you can see an inventory of liners ready to go in this same Texas operation, as well as some additional forms ready to go. They're right there in the casting area. And I couldn't resist showing you what the walls looked like once you take the blocks out of the factory and you install them into a wall. This is a commercial project in Baltimore, about 8,000 square feet. It's planted with 8 different types of perennial, and this has just survived its first 2 months, which was 100-degree heat, and now it's on autopilot due to the large SmartSlope pocket and the fact that we specify really good growth media in the pocket. It's a good looking wall. We've stained these modules a nice dark olive gray, which is our trademark color, and this should grow out fantastic this year.